Greetings, everyone, no matter where you are on the planet, Northern Hemisphere, Upside Down Hemisphere. We're from the land up over. You guys are from down under. But anyway, it's good to be back with everyone, and thank you for showing up. And meditation is an act of faith. In other words, an act of affirmation of the ultimate goodness of existence in the universe. So thank you for being here with us. And today we have really, well, they're always special, but this is special. This is In, Out, and Through, track 1. And this is a guided meditation. And what makes this very special is Judith Pennington, our dear friend and often contributor and colleague that I've known for years. She's actually, it's her voice you hear. And I swear to God, this woman transmits through the timbre and the sound and the vibration of her voice. Really extraordinary. And what makes it also double special is that she's reading a meditation that was created by the late Anna Wise. And Anna was aptly named. She was one of the pioneers that really brought our understanding of brain waves and the different states and the meditative benefits of the different alpha, theta, delta, etc. All this, and just put it out in a very comprehensive and beautiful way. And I don't know, her spirit just comes through her writing. She was very, and Judith knew her. It was like a study with her. It was almost a disciple of hers. So she is one of the giants on whose shoulders we stand that are in this brain entrainment business or endeavor. So, thank you, Anna, for all you did for us and continue to do, and thank you, Judith. So this is called Expansion of the Self, and it is 20 minutes and 27 seconds long. We will see you on the other side.
Relax deeply. Use your landmarks to help guide you down quickly and effortlessly into a deeply relaxed meditative state. Allow yourself to let go of all spiritual goals and personal expectations. Just become present inside yourself, right here, right now. From here, begin to allow yourself to expand. You may feel the expansion first in your body. It's almost a sense of growing, larger and larger. You may feel the expansion in your energy system, moving upward and outward.
Wow. Hey, everyone. Yeah. Thank you. Great spirit. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Judith. That was, anyways, amazing, beautiful, holy moment. And we need to cultivate those holy moments, those moments of peace, those moments of presence, those moments of God consciousness and awareness. And Abraham Maslow, the uh, the fathers of the humanistic psychology movement, and later the transpersonal. I think he actually came up with the name transpersonal. Well, he said, he said when he was starting his work, and I really responded to this when I was reading him. He said, psychology, Western psychology, via Freud, etc., was basically modeled on studying people who are suffering, pathologies. And that's how we kind of made our maps of consciousness. He said, well, what if we study people who are really healthy, exemplars of what it means to be human, and see if we can put any things together about why they're that way and what's going on there. And one of the things that he said that these people that he studied, historical, and they were alive at his time, is that they had all at least had one moment of peak awareness, or multiple times, but there was always some point where they had these moments of just experiencing reality in a much larger way, and a reality that is beautiful and transcendent. That's why you don't have to fear going too deep. Maybe if you go just deep enough, you'll find your trauma, or sometimes we get into universal trauma, but if we keep going and working through that transforms into the light, the universal light. In fact, the only way to really get there in a healthy manner is to go through the suffering and go through the pain, both individual and collective. And so, yeah, I just experienced that with this meditation. I'm just so grateful for it, and grateful that I'm pig-headed enough to stick with the practice and meditation. And one of the things that's going on is we have a new podcast that we've been working on for like 4 years to get this together. And I met Dr. Roger Walsh at a conference in Europe, and I'd always really admired him. I'd read his books. In fact, Essential Spirituality is a book that I'm constantly giving away to folks. And yeah, grab it if you can. But anyway, we met, and he had just lost his wife, who was very well known in her own right, Frances Vaughn, a therapist and a writer. And Ken Wilber said she was the wisest woman he had ever met. So that's quite an endorsement. Anyway, he just lost her suddenly. And I'd gone through the thing with my parents. And then like 2 or 3 months before the conference, I had this massive heart attack. So just getting on the airplane and flying across the ocean was an act of faith. And I was just like, I think I'm supposed to do this. And if I die doing what I'm supposed to be doing, there's not a really better way to die that I can figure out. So Roger and I met, and we just hit it off. And I think it was a lot of our brokenness at that point, and just openness to one another. So we became friends, and we would chat on the phone and exchange emails, etc. And at one point, I can't exactly remember how it happened, but I was talking to Roger, or maybe it was premeditated. But I said, Roger, do you want to do a podcast? And part of my motivation to do this, because I hold Roger in such high esteem, that if I could just get a podcast where he's talking a lot, that I would be doing a service to the world, because he's a scholar, and he's also a practitioner. He's actually been named a lama in the Tibetan tradition, just honoring his attainment, his work, his service. I mean, he's just great. He would never mention that. I heard that. He never told me that. He was talking to a Zen Roshi, and they were talking about it. And I was, really? I said, you never told me that, Roger. Anyway, he's also a very humble man, and has a really good heart. So he's got everything that I aspire to. And one of the things that I thought about this podcast, which by the way is called Deep Transformation, Self, Society, Spirit, that I wanted to hang out with people that makes me want to be a better person. And number one was Roger. He does that for me. And I don't know how many people that we've interviewed now, 20 maybe more, but we're getting ready to release it and get it into the world. And there's really been something that happens in these conversations. And I like podcasts a lot. I mean, there's a really lot, some great podcasts and ones that I listen to. But in these, we were trying to see if we could take it deeper instead of just interviewing people and they're giving us their bullet points about their work and all that stuff. We would find out, what's going on inside of them, what hurts for them, what makes them feel good, what was a story, how did they wake up, and how, what's going on now, and what's your practice, and just get them flowing. And it became clear to me that one of my main tasks was just to get into a space where my heart was open, okay, and I could deeply listen. And I don't know if you've had that experience before. Hopefully, if you've been in therapy, if you had a therapist worth their salt, you can do that. But when you're in a space where people are receptive, and you're just, it seems to evoke the depth of us and other people anyway. So that's been one of my primary tasks, and it sends me into a very powerful and holy place. And then if I have anything to say, I'll say it. But it's been quite the experience. And one of the things, like I said, it was 4 years getting here, because we started and we had interviews, there were technical problems. Then the pandemic hit, and originally we were in person with the people. We'd go to these amazing conferences, we'd get everybody, and every time Roger asked anybody, they all know Roger, they all come. So we've had just an extraordinary, amazing people, and being able to hang out with them, with Roger, was a gift. But last year we did a couple of online vision quests, and I was in a conversation with, I think it was a marketer, and he said, "What are you good at?" Oh, I'm good at vision quests, because it was a very important part of my own spiritual growth and finding my path, was going and doing prayer fast out in the wilderness, very much based and inspired by the Native American tradition. And I had a Native American teacher, but I never walked the red road, but I got so much from it. And then I started a program, I helped start a program, because it's my idea anyway, called passage through recovery and taking people out to the wilderness who were struggling with drugs and alcohol and going these transformative journeys. And of course, we would meditate, we would pray together, we would share our truth around the fire at night. We'd do sweat lodges almost every week. It was amazing to see how people could open up and get in these healing spaces in these lodges. And then the culmination of the program was to go on a 3-day prayer fast by yourself. And and they didn't have to do it. It was just voluntary. You can't force somebody not to eat and pray. But by the time the program was over, almost everybody wanted to do it. I don't think I can remember one person. One time in the original group, when we had, there was one guy that didn't. And these were some hardcore cases, but everyone else did. And they were just, anyway, so I became very good at that, of preparing people and processing. Not only do you have to go and set up the place, and we'd search for, I walk with them, and I would say, find a place where it would be okay to die. Okay, because essentially on the fishing quest, that's what's going on. It's a death and rebirth, right? Just like Jesus at the beginning of his ministry, I think it's in Luke, that he went out 40 days, 40 nights in the wilderness and fasted. And then toward the end, he gets attacked by the devil. And, officer, come on, man, if you're the son of God, you can do all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. And no, obviously he didn't. And the rest, as they say, is spiritual history. Same thing with the Buddha under the Bodhi tree, the sacred fig tree in the story. All these temptations of the world came, and he just went, no, I'm not going to be deviated. And you see him and statues pressing his finger down on the earth. I'm not moving until I get it. And he got it. And again, we're still resonating from that experience all these years later, millennia later. So, we did this vision quest. We did 2 of them, and it was like, how's this going to work online? We're not there. People aren't going into the wilderness. There's a pandemic. And so, we get together, we talk and share some, and then I'll give people assignments and meditate and ask the right questions. Very important in your prayer when you're searching for your path or you're searching for an answer, to ask the right question. If you don't ask the right question, you might miss it. So, but what happened is when we came back together, there was kind of a group thing going on, a group awakening, a group vision that was really remarkable. Unlike the more traditional thing where it's a pretty solitary thing. You separate from your people, your tribe, you go away, then you're brought back into communication with the medicine man, and you sit together or do a sweat lodge together, something like that. And it was really remarkable. And then we did the second one. It was 100 people each time. We had 100 people doing this, and it was so powerful and transformational. We decided to do it again. At the second version, not only would I give assignments, when go off on your own, meditate for hour, whatever, 2 hours, whatever it was, and ask this question and look into these issues. We would do it together. And at this point, back to the podcast. That's going to be released in the next few days, Deep Transformation. I had a vision. Well, I was, that's what happens. You think you're out there to help and heal others, and you end up getting healed yourself. That certainly happened to me when I would start recovery or wilderness programs. I was like, it was saving my life. But I had this vision of this beautiful waves, huge green waves, and they're not threatening waves, they're just gorgeous green water, and the light was shining through the waves. And then this angel flew up and kissed me on the mouth, this beautiful angel. I just, really? And usually when I meditate, I'm not that visual, okay? And I just felt blessed, and what I got from that, and I guess that was what I was seeking in my prayers and my questions was, should we continue with this podcast thing, because it's been really long and hard, and but hey, Roger stuck with it, I did, but that was just an affirmation from the call, from the the symbolic holy realm of consciousness that we reach in theta a lot, that it was okay, and I would be blessed, and I would be, I'd be okay. That God would be with me, the angels would be with me, and the holy would be with me, and I just had to keep it up and keep showing up, and then it would be okay. So that's yeah, that's kind of how it works. And as I started this talk off with, talking about these holy moments that we get in prayer and in meditation. And for me, in the years that have gone by, that prayer and meditation is kind of the same thing now. The meditation is what helps me slow my mind down and get focused and be there present. And then the prayer happens when I say, okay, God, I'm ready for whatever it is. I'm ready for your presence. Help me to be aware of it. I mean, it's always there, right? So anyway, that's what's going on. And yeah, don't be lazy in your spiritual questing. Do your part, right? Do your practices. Go on your retreat. Do the vision quest. Do your daily hour if you can, or more if you can. Like in the beginning, probably most people can't do that long. As you progress, it gets easier and easier, and it becomes something that you desire, because the more it becomes a refuge of the Dharma they talked about, and they talk about in Buddhism, or Jesus called in the Gospel of John, he called the Holy Spirit a comforter. Okay, so there's a tremendous peace, the peace of God that passeth all understanding, it says in the Bible. So that's what we can find in ourselves. And I'll end with one of my favorite Sufi quotes. He said, I think it might have been Rumi who said this, but he said, I looked for myself and all I found was God. And I looked for God and all I found was myself. So there it is. That's what we find. But anyway, yeah, do the work, show up, be present, find your path, and walk it in the best way. Walk the Native Americans the good red road, and you know what that is for you. And do the best you can. And as Judith said in the saying, is we reach up to higher power simultaneously. Higher powers are reaching out to us. So let's meet them halfway. And I think that's it for today. Thanks for your love, your support, and your patience. God bless.